Secretary Vilsack, thank you. My expectation is that I need a couple of rounds for questions, so I'm happy to take this beginning. First of all, I appreciate your leadership in agriculture. I appreciate the relationship we've had for a long time. I want to highlight the importance that I see in the consideration and ultimate passage of a farm bill. I'm disappointed that there's a pause taking place, and it seems to be that there are those in the Senate who believe the current farm bill is satisfactory, meets their needs. I also recognize the challenges that would exist in the House in trying to pass a farm bill as well. So there's plenty of responsibility here that needs to be met. But it's the first time in, I don't know, I've been maybe through 4 farm bills, been on the conference committee for 2 or 3 of them. It's the first time that I've ever seen that we voluntarily decide that we can't get a farm bill done. And you outlined the challenges that producers face. And I don't expect you to respond to this, but I did not want the moment to pass without, again, asking the Senate leadership of the Ag Committee and the leadership of the Senate to reemphasize and refocus on getting a farm bill done. I have a lot of interest in trying to deal with drought and water issues in the farm bill, conservation practices, on the farm income. You predicted, the USDA predicted it would be down 43% in the last 5 years since the last farm bill. Input costs are dramatically rising, have risen, and so I don't want us to walk away from this. Mr. Secretary, about a year ago, we were in Manhattan, Kansas, cut a ribbon on the National Agrobioscience Research Facility. Its importance becomes is more evident all the time. Would you update me and the committee on the transition activities and the mission transfer from Plum Island to Manhattan?
The official transfer from the Department of Homeland Security to USDA has occurred, and we're in the process now of, as you say, moving select agents and other matters from Plum Island to Manhattan, Kansas. We're doing this in a very thoughtful, very careful, and very systematic way. I'm pleased with the progress that we've made so far. I anticipate more progress being made this summer and this fall, and I think we're going to be significantly operational by the end of this year.
Any challenges, workforce or otherwise, that you need help with?
Well, there's always the issue of budget, Senator. This is a state-of-the-art facility that is unique, and so when things don't work and you have to get them fixed, or you have to get them repaired, or you have to get them replaced, there's a significant expense because of the level of security that we now have in this facility. But I'm confident that we've got the workforce that is dedicated to the mission, and that we're going to help American agriculture in the country.
In FY24, we appropriated the President's request. We'll work to do so in FY25. Staying a bit on this topic, I recently visited with the Kansas Department of Agriculture, its secretary and staff, the Animal Health Commissioner, the USDA Regional Veterinary Director, and livestock producers throughout Kansas. Mr. Secretary, and what we're talking about is H5N1 and its spread to mammals. Can APHIS, through either its contingency funds or emergency response, work with land-grant and diagnostic labs that have the expertise in livestock management and biodefense to make funds available to research H5N1 that could either treat infected animals or develop the therapies that stop the spread or mutation of the current strain?
I think that work is already underway.
With any success that you could report or challenges you would face?
Well, there are significant challenges from a scientific perspective, but we're going to continue to work on them, and we hope that within 12 to 18 months we're in a much better place than we are today. It's going to take time. You've got to match the virus. If you're looking at vaccines, you've got to match the vaccine to the virus. You have to make sure that there are markers that can distinguish, especially in poultry, between diseased birds and vaccinated birds. You have trade implications. I mean, it's a pretty complicated question that doesn't lend itself to a 5-minute question and answer period.
I'd be glad to have a long cup of coffee with you.
Sure.
On that topic, and then I'll save my other questions for the next round if there is one. What's the status of scientific study on the H5N1 threat to new mammals? And what are you seeing in trade implications to date?
We've made a concerted effort to reach out to our trading partners, and so far I think there's been an understanding and appreciation for the amount of information we've provided our trade partners. We've seen very little restriction, if you will. A couple of countries expressing concerns, but for the most part, our trading partners understand that we're on top of this, that we expect and anticipate our dairy cows to recover, that our milk is safe, and that it's very, very low risk to people. We're going to continue to do a lot of research on this so that we understand and appreciate the transition and transmission of this. We know that there's heavy virus in the milk. We know that that milk, when it's pasteurized, is safe. But there may very well be a circumstance, a situation where we need to be ever vigilant in terms of biosecurity, especially around the milking parlor, in terms of having access to what may be virus-filled milk that in turn can be transitioned. We also have facilities that are both poultry and dairy. We want to make sure that the transport between those two is very carefully thought through, because there can also be biosecurity issues there.
Kansas has become such a dairy state, Mr. Secretary, and thanks to Senator Fisher. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.